You want to know how a peaceful escape can turn into a war? Let me tell you, if you'd asked me a year ago if I'd ever end up in a full scale battle over a lake, my own family's lake, mind you, I would have laughed, handed you a beer, and told you to lay off the courtroom dramas. But here we are. And you? Yeah, you don't roll your eyes. Might want to hear this one because I swear, if it could happen to me, it could happen to anyone who thinks their home is their castle. It started the day I rolled up that old gravel drive, tires chewing through 30 years of family ghosts, thinking the only battles I'd face were with mosquitoes and creaky floorboards. 900 acres. Tennessee woods that felt untouched by anything but birds and weather. The kind of quiet you spend your whole life chasing, only to realize maybe you're not sure what to do with it once you catch it. In the passenger seat, I had a battered thermos full of coffee and my grandfather's ashes. Jacob Jacobs, if you can believe that name, resting in a cedar box. I was done with Memphis. Done with billable hours, plastic smiles, and clients who made up problems just to have something to fix. All I wanted was peace. That's what I kept telling myself. Just some peace. Turns out the living are always harder to make peace with than the dead. I thought my only job was to keep the lake safe, like Grandpa always said. He'd make me promise over and over, keep the lake our son. Like it was an oath, not a wish. So he left it to me outright. The house, the woods, the glassy piece of water. So still, it looked cut from the sky. First few days, I barely slept. I'd walk that shoreline, let the silence settle in my chest, figured the only trespassers I'd run into were deer. That lasted all of 10 days. I was down by the dock, brush in hand, fixing up the cedar boards, when this teenage kid jogs up out of nowhere. Earbuds and sunglasses on like he's running laps at the YMCA. Gives me a nod, some kind of half wave, and sprints right out on my dock before I even have time to say a word. So I call out calm, as you please. Hey, you know, this is private property, right? Kid looks at me like I'm speaking in riddles. Dude, this is the HOA lake. Everyone runs here. And there it was. First shot fired. I try to explain, tell him this isn't some community park. This is private. Jacob's land since before he was born. Kid laughs. That's not what my mom says. Then he's gone like I'm the weirdo. I chalked it up to a misunderstanding. Maybe a neighbor's kid, maybe a bad map. Funny how fast you start making excuses for people you haven't even met. 3 days later, I get this letter. HOA letterhead. Never seen one in my life, but there it is. Clear Shore Wide Property Owners Association. Like they own the sky. They're telling me in the most polite legalese that I need to submit an application to join, and if I don't comply, there might be limitations of shoreline access. I laughed. Really, I did. Wrote them back with a copy of the deed, all the Jacobs family in perpetuity, language highlighted and underlined. Sent it certified mail. Thought that would be it. It wasn't. A week goes by. I'm sipping coffee on the porch, thinking I've won, when I spot something weird down by the lake. Brand new signs, bright blue, staked in every 50 feet members, only HOA access. I just stood there staring like an idiot, coffee going cold in my hand. It wasn't vandalism, it was organized. Like someone had a plan, and I was the last to know. Next thing I'm finding folding chairs by my fire pit. A family picnicking 20 feet from my dock. Someone stacks firewood near the boat ramp like they're prepping for a block party. I even catch a woman tying her inflatable kayak to my pier, unloading snacks like she's setting up shop. I ask who she is. She tells me all matter of fact that the community uses the lake now, and I should talk to Karen. Karen Lindell, HOA president. Like that means anything on my property. So I try. I go down to the HOA office. It's a double wide trailer with a logo on the door. Receptionist chewing gum like it's her job. She gives me a number, says Karen's busy, like I'm trying to meet the mayor or something. I leave, get home, and start documenting everything. Drone footage of the signs, photos of trespassers, copies of every letter. I'm a lawyer after all. If you're not building a case, you're losing one. That's when Karen shows up. Shows up at my door in a pink visor. Arms folded smile so sweet it could rot your teeth. You must be Mr. Jacob, she says. Harris, I correct her. You're Karen. She nods. President of the Clear Shore Waterside Association. Like she's introducing herself at a country club. I tell her straight she's posting signs on my land. She gives this little laugh, tells me, oh, those aren't on your property? They're near the shoreline. And according to our maps, that shoreline is now public access. I pull out the deed laminated just for her. This says otherwise. She doesn't even look. Just shrugs. Mr. Jacobs, you're surrounded by our community now. We've always used this lake. You can't just privatize nature, I told her. This isn't a community pond with a gazebo. It's deeded land. Karen, I want my property left alone. She just smirks, says, we'll see about that, and walks off. Next thing I know, the signs double. Every morning, there are footprints on my dock beer cans under the pines. I call the sheriff's office. Deputy comes out, shrugs, tells me it's a civil matter. We don't enforce HOA disputes. I'm standing there thinking wars have started over less. Then comes the next letter. This one's not so polite. It's full of threats. HOA non-compliance back dues. I don't owe. Talk of administrative limitations. I laugh again, but it's not funny anymore. I send back topographic surveys, old newspaper articles about my grandfather fishing on that lake proof on proof. Doesn't matter. Next day, a gang of kids roll up on rented kayaks, say Karen told them it's fine. I install cameras. Everywhere. Dock fire pit trail. I catch a parade of strangers on tape, like my properties become a public park overnight. Every time I call the sheriff, they get a little more tired of me. Unless you catch them breaking something, it's hard to press charges. Not on my water, I say. Sue them, Langston tells me. Civil court will make it stick. I don't want to sue anyone. Not yet. I just want to be left alone. But then the map shows up. Full color laminated, posted on the HOA bulletin board for everyone to see. It shows walking paths, green spaces, and right in the center, my lake labeled Common Use Zone. My name. Not even a footnote. I stand there staring at that map, neighbors grumbling behind me about community rights. One guy mutters that freedom isn't free. I tell them my grandfather was nice about it. He's dead. I'm not. I don't care if they like it. Emails start pouring in. Nasty ones. I'm ruining neighborhood harmony. I'm a roadblock. One says water is life, like that's some magic phrase that lets you steal from someone. Next day, my mailbox gets flattened. Someone paints thief on a signpost. I start carrying a sidearm just in case. Karen comes back this time with a new visor and a clipboard. Community vote, she says. 84% agree the lake should be annexed. The map's been submitted to the county. I laugh, can't help it. You think this is colonial America? You can't just redraw lines with a committee and a Crayola map. But they'd submitted a request, all right. And what I found out next, well, let's just say it's the moment the gloves came off. I call Ken an old buddy who used to be a county land surveyor, now a whistleblower, more caffeine than blood in his veins. I give him a name, Glenn Crane from the HOA board. Ken digs. Turns out Glenn once worked for the county GIS office, and someone had quietly submitted an altered overlay showing my lake as unclaimed municipal green space. Not a mistake. Not even a clever trick. Flat out fraud. Flat out, they weren't just bluffing. They were trying to erase me from the records. That's when I went full lawyer. Filed complaints with the county. Pulled every record, every permit, every fake map. Sure enough, HOA had tried to file a zoning request for a floating dock in a community facility. Not clueless neighbors anymore. This was a full-on heist, paper trail and all. So I stopped playing nice. I put up new signs, installed more cameras, walked into the HOA office, and slapped Karen with a notarized cease and desist. She looked at it like it was a shopping list. We're clarifying boundaries, she says. No, I tell her. You're forging records and gaslighting a legal owner. This is fraud. Next time it's court. Her smile cracks. You really want war, lady? You already declared it. 48 hours later, I'm woken up by shouts down by the water. Men unloading lumber, staking out a future HOA dock sign. I call the sheriff. They show up, question the workers, cite them for trespassing and unauthorized construction. The workers say, we just do what we're told. Karen's fingerprints everywhere, but she's nowhere to be found. That night, she calls, leaves a voicemail. You really think this ends with you winning? Careful who you push. I save it, pour myself a whiskey watch. The mist rise off the water. It's quiet, but it doesn't feel like peace. Next day, bags of trash dumped on my shoreline. A flyer in the middle community cleanup day. Thank you for participating. Subtle right. So I post the video of the dock crew online. Tag everyone. HOA Karen Sheriff County. 6 hours later, it's viral. A local reporter calls, wants the scoop. I let him talk to Karen. Let her write her own script. 2 days later, a drone flies over my lake. Sure enough, the article drops. HOA claims historic rights, paints me as the greedy outsider. Karen's front and center smiling like she won the lottery. And the hate mail starts. You're everything wrong with this country. Land belongs to God. Someone offers to liberate the lake himself. Next day, my truck gets egged. Caught 2 teens on camera, clear shore hoodies. Print the stills, bring them to the sheriff. They promise to look into it, but you can see it in their eyes. They're tired. This is bigger than a neighborhood spat. What Karen didn't count on was her own paper trail. I started digging newsletters, meeting minutes, zoning forms. I found a real estate flyer, 5 years old, advertising clear shore as beside a serene private lake. Not shared. Not HOA owned. Sent it to the reporter. He's surprised, asks if I'll talk. I say no, but I tell him, you're neck deep now. She's lying. And the tide starts turning. A few neighbors reach out, anonymous emails, stories of being threatened, votes being faked. One guy, Grayson, used to be on the HOA board. We meet in a diner, him in sunglasses like he's meeting a spy. He hands me a flash drive. Meeting recordings. She didn't know I backed up the calls. Turns out Karen's been cooking votes, printing fake maps, bullying anyone who speaks up. That evening, I play a clip of Karen's latest meltdown, her shouting on the shoreline over speakers on my dock. Full volume. Video goes viral. Memes everywhere. Press shows up. Karen spirals. Then, my tires get slashed. Note under the windshield. Share the lake or we take it. I'm done being nice. File a restraining order. Tell my lawyer to go scorched earth. Reporter wants to publish everything. Gives me the green light. The next article. How an HOA tried to steal a private lake and got caught. That's when the real legal war begins. I bring in my old firm file, a 172-page complaint. Trespassing, fraud, defamation, the whole 9 yards. We serve Karen and the HOA. The judge. Not a fan of HOA nonsense. Our evidence, deeds, drone footage, witness testimony, emails showing Karen's plan to build the narrative. First legal comes second. They trot out their defense, ambiguous boundaries, community interest. Their star witness, Glenn Cracks, on the stand, admits to the fraud. The judge leans forward. You're asserting ownership over land deeded private since the Nixon administration. Karen's lawyer mumbles something about ambiguous. The judge points at the deed. That's not ambiguous. That's carved in stone. My lawyer pushes for an injunction. Judge grants it. HOA barred from the lake, all signage removed at their expense. Karen personally liable for damages. The aftermath, well, you'd think the story ends there, but in real life, nothing's ever that simple. 2 months later, I put up a new sign on the dock, private lake. Trespassers will be sued. Hoof-free zone. Walter, the retired trooper I hired as security, helps me bolt it in place. No more parties, no more drones, no more HOA. Clear Shore, HOA, collapsed under legal fees. Residents revolt, board resigns, neighborhood just becomes a neighborhood. People cut their own grass. Nobody tells them what color mailbox they can have. Karen. She pleads guilty to half the book. Gets 11 years, no parole for 6. They perp, walk her out in daylight. She's screaming about our lake. Local news plays that clip for a week. Reporter wins an award. HOA bylaws across the state get rewritten overnight. Me, I stick around, restore the dock, plant some flowers, sign a deal with the wildlife preservation folks, turn the lake into a private ecological reserve. No motorboats, no dumping, just water and wind and quiet. Sometimes I get visitors, students, rangers, people who knock first. Most days, it's just me. A while back, I found a note in my mailbox. No name. Just, you were right to fight. I guess that's the lesson, right? Sometimes the hardest battles aren't with the monsters you expect, but with the ones who smile at you across a property line and tell you it's for your own good. There's no law, no HOA, no committee vote that can take away what's truly yours if you're willing to stand your ground. But let me ask you, where's the line really between protecting what's yours and becoming the villain in someone else's story? Do you think I did the right thing, or did I go too far? Ever had to fight for something you thought was untouchable, only to find out just how far some people will go to take it? Yeah, I'd love to hear your story too.